Welcome to SUPboardGuide.com. Today we're going to be reviewing the Gili Air. Once again, one of our top-rated budget-level kind of introductory stand-up paddle boards, and for a really good reason. We're going to dive into all the specs and the features and everything that comes with the board, but kind of bottom line, the Gili Air is just a really good board for somebody who's just getting into the sport that doesn't want to spend a lot of money, but still wants a good quality stand-up paddle board that's backed by a 2-year warranty, a really good company, and has a really nice feel on the water. So again, bottom line, one of our top-rated budget SUPs, and a SUP that you really should consider if that's the price range where you're at. So now we're going to dive into the specs and the features of the Gili Air to really help you decide if this is a good board for you. You know, it is a budget board, but there's a lot of things here that we really like. So kind of stepping back from a shape standpoint, you can see it's definitely an all-around shape, and it leans a little bit more towards the stability side of things versus the speed side of things, which I think is a good move for a kind of a budget, you know, beginner type board. It's 10 foot 6 inches long, 31 inches wide in the center here, and 6 inches thick, so it has a lot of good volume, supports up to 270 pounds. You know, if you're even a more experienced paddler, you can probably push it a little past that because of that volume. And as far as, you know, what that means, so if you look at the shape, right, like it actually stays pretty thick all the way up to the front and through the back. It doesn't taper really, you know, real pointed on the front or the back like some of the other budget boards that you see. And I like that because it does provide a good stable platform. If you're a beginner who's a little, you know, again, you're budget conscious beginner that needs something stable, this is a good option. As far as construction materials goes, it is a single layer PVC. It's made out of the military grade PVC, so it is very durable. It's not going to be as durable as a dual layer PVC, you know, a fusion board or a triple layer like you get on some of the other brands. But again, we're talking a budget board, so I would not expect much more than that at this level. It is very durable though, and they do back it by that 2-year warranty, so really like that. Drop stitch inner core, almost forgot that part, sorry. That's, you know, kind of industry standard, gives it its shape, gives it its rigidity, and it's a pretty rigid board. I'll show you that kind of when we get on the water. It has a really good feel to it because of the shape and just how they've set it up. As far as features go, so again, for a budget board, it's got quite a few features, and we like that. As far as handles, at the nose, you've got this handle here. It does not have a neoprene cover, but it's still a very comfortable, good quality handle. You got one in the middle. You don't have one at the tail. I'd love to kind of see that if possible. Again, you're kind of balancing cost here for Gili, so I'm not gonna rip on them for that, but that would be something we'd love to see. You do have a nice, you know, bungee area here, so it's a 6 D-ring bungee area. In total, you have 15 D-rings, which is really cool for a budget board, because you can really kind of tie down anything that you like and just do a lot of cool things with the Gili Air, so we love that. So you got the bungee area. Moving, you've got this nice long EVA deck pad, and it's a very comfortable deck pad. The one thing that I'd like to see is these lines. They're not actually kind of grooved lines. I'd love to see that in the future, just to add a little traction and grip to it. But as far as comfortability goes, like, it's a good deck pad. You don't slip on it, but I wouldn't mind just a little more traction there for that deck pad. And you can see you get kind of these D-rings kind of as they come down. They're not on the sides here, which I wouldn't mind seeing, but they really are on the sides still and out of the way. So just in general, you know, as you look at it, it's a good quality board. I love the looks of it. Well built, well constructed for that, you know, for that budget level, and just a really good option for those people in that price range. So now we're going to go over all the accessories and everything that comes in the kit when you buy the Gili Air. And so everything you see here comes standard. You don't have to pay any extra or anything like that. It all comes in the bag. So let's start with the bag. So Gili, definitely got to give them props. Like, they upgraded the bag this year, so it's really nice and comfortable. Comfortable shoulder straps, hip straps, nice pad in the back there. And it's I mean, you're already dealing with a light board that's only 19 pounds. When you throw it in here, I mean, it really doesn't weigh much with a whole kit, and so it makes it really easy if you are looking for something lightweight, budget level, that lets you kind of go backpacking, etc. a really good option. Good backpack, does not have wheels, notice, but again, that makes it lighter, right? So I think that's a good move to not add wheels, because it is so easy to kind of carry around anyways, given how lightweight the board is. Last thing on the bag, you do have this side kind of bungee netting area for, you know, drinks or whatever you want to kind of put there. You have a zipper up front, and the zippers are like, they really did kind of step up the quality this year on the zippers, so I really do like that. So it's a good bag that's going to last a while, and it fits the board really nicely. Other things that come included, you have your standard repair kit, which comes with some patches and the valve to tighten, or the wrench, excuse me, to tighten the valve in the back. Definitely hold on to this. You don't want to lose it in case you do need that. You don't need to carry it around with you everywhere, but it's nice to have on hand if something does happen. Comes with a really nice color-coded leash. So it's a 10-foot coiled leash, and it swivels, so it's a good quality leash that you get. It can kind of pull it off pretty easy back here. Opens up, has a key holder, right? And it's just a nice, good coiled leash that stays out of the water, gives you a little bit of protection and connects you to the board. Moving on, the pump that you get with the Gili Air, it's not as nice as what you get with like the Mino series, but I wouldn't necessarily expect to at kind of the budget level. It's a single chamber dual action pump. So what that means is when you're on the first setting, you know, you pull up and it pumps air in, you push down and it pumps air in. You can then adjust it down you can kind of push this button in here, and as it gets a little bit harder, then it goes to a single chamber, single action, to where on the upstroke, air is not going in. So it's not like you're pulling really hard to do that. On the downstroke though, you're still getting air in. There's good volume in here, so it does pump up the board pretty nice and fast. And it's lightweight, so just a good decent pump with this kit. Moving on to the paddle, I'll kind of step forward. It is definitely an introductory paddle. It's an aluminum paddle with a nylon blade, and it's definitely fine. It might be something that I would recommend upgrading if you're going to do a lot of paddling, because it is a little bit heavier than like a fiberglass paddle or a carbon fiber paddle. But again, for a budget kit, it's kind of what we would expect. And as far as kind of putting it together, nice and simple, right? You just have this snap lock here. Don't snap your fingers, sorry. I may have snapped my fingers a few times on different paddles, right? So it snaps in there, and then up top here, you're just gonna slide this in, right? There's settings on that side there to kind of give you the height that you want it. I'm gonna slide that in. I'm right about 5'11", 6 foot. I like it a little bit longer. Right there, you can kind of set that up for you. And so that's the Gili Air paddle. Again, a good quality paddle, a little bit heavier than some of the paddles you get in kits as you step up in price, but for a budget level paddle, it's a good quality paddle. Now, I'm going to kind of show you the fins, flip this over and kind of show you how that works. Gili's got a really good, simple, easy fin setup that's still really effective. So looking at the fin setup, you have these two side, what we call fixie fins. So they're pretty much indestructible. Like, you really can't break these things. It's kind of nice because you don't have to worry about side fins. And again, on kind of a budget level board, it's definitely not bad to have. Even some of the higher end boards, like with Red Palicos, etc., come with these types of fins. So they definitely perform well, but you can't remove them. That really only comes into play when you're rolling up the board, or maybe trying to transport on top of a car with another board on top. And that's more of just like a slight annoyance, not really a big deal. The center fin I really like. It's this snap lock fin. So it just goes in really easy. Just put that in, make sure this part's down, and snap it in. So you can be literally in the water in under 5 seconds. A 6-year-old can do this really easily, and you don't lose the fin, you don't have any issues with that. So I really do actually like the fin setup on the Gili Air. And while I've got kind of the board turned over, just want to make a point on the graphic on the back. It's this really cool turtle, and with the Save Our Turtles, Gili, every board that they sell, they do donate a percentage to save the ocean reefs, to save turtles, to save kind of that marine life, and just really want to kind of give a shout out to Gili for doing that. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take the Gili Air out on the water to kind of give you an idea of how it feels when you're paddling. And as you know, as we review and rate boards, what we look at, you know, stability, we look at tracking and glide, we look at maneuverability. So from a stability standpoint, the Gili Air really is a nice stable board. You can see it's nice, the shape 10.6, 32 by 6, but you really have a lot of width in the nose and towards the tail. A little bit less in the tail than the nose, but that does give it a nice stability for beginners who are looking at kind of a budget level type board. So we really do like that about the Gili. Because it's the single layer PVC, even though it's military grade and durable, you do see a little more flex in the board, right? And so, you know, even though it is stable, it will be a little bit more tipsy than like their Adventure series or the Mino, but still does a really good job, especially at that price point. From a tracking and glide standpoint, I really do like how the board feels. It has just a really nice glide, good shape to it, more of a cruiser type shape than a touring shape. But because it's so lightweight at only 19 pounds, it's really easy to kind of get the board up and going. Even for some of those longer paddles, just does a really good job there. The tri-fin setup with the bigger center fin does a good job on the tracking side of things. And just, you know, a lot of the cheaper boards, we just have a real big problem with how they feel on the water. That's really not the case with the Gili. It has a good glide, tracks well, and performs really nicely. When it comes to maneuverability, just kind of what you'd expect from a 10.6 board, and that's only 19 pounds, is very maneuverable. You can turn it really easily here and just performs really nice. So if you got to move around different things, kids, trees, rocks, whatever, the Gili's going to do a good job. As you kind of want to improve your SUP-boarding game, right, and kind of practice those back fin strokes, etc., the Gili, you're definitely able to with this. And you just kind of step back nice and slowly, keep the leash out of your way, lift that nose, because again, it's only 19 pounds. You don't really have to bend down hard to kind of get that nose up. Just a slight tilt, and you can get that nose up and do a back step turn. So really like that about the Gili Air. Good feel to it. Definitely something that you can learn on as a beginner and just have a ton of fun with as you kind of perfect that stroke and that turn. So just in general, you know, it's a great board for just all around conditions, nice open flat waters, slow moving rivers. You know, great fun board for the kids, for adults, beginners to intermediates alike to paddle on. Kind of bottom line, and as you can tell, you know, for a budget level board, we're really pleased with the Gili Air. You know, for a couple years in a row, it's been right at the top of our best budget boards list, and for all the different reasons we talked about. Kind of one other thing that we just want to highlight is that, you know, Gili is just a really good company that stand behind their product. You know, there's the 60-day guarantee, the 2-year warranty on the Gili Air, which is nice for a budget level board. It's not just one of those cheap whatevers you get off of Amazon that are not backed by an actual company. That's a big thing for us. You want to know that that company is going to be there. They're going to support you. So even though this is like an entry-level, you know, beginner type SUP, you don't want to waste your money, and that's kind of what the Gili Air is. It's a really good quality board that's not a waste of money. And another good thing, and one of the reasons why Gili's kind of my daughter's favorite company, is they do give that percentage of sales to protect the reef and to kind of save the oceans. So not only are you getting out on the water, getting out, really having a fun time, but you're supporting some really good causes when you buy the Gili Air. So for all those reasons, we really do love it. And I hope this review has kind of helped you decide if this is a good SUP for you. If you have further questions, ask them in the comments below. You can go to our full review on www.supboardguide.com, where you can see a lot more pictures, really in-depth review of the Gili Air. And again, there you can ask us questions about it as well that are kind of more tailored specific to you if we didn't cover one of your questions. So yeah, please go. And then as far as our YouTube channel, we'll be continually putting out reviews. We're going to start doing some SUP tips, etc. So be sure to like the video, follow us on YouTube, and let us know if you have any other questions.